I can recall that one of my last assignments for humanities, and yes, this was a class literally called humanities. I can't imagine anything that would be less useful for a math major, but we had to do it. We all have to do it. So, this article was essentially about how sad it was that students weren't learning properly about historical figures like Henry David Thoreau, I believe he was a poet, and Gandhi and others who apparently the educational elite simply expected us to know about because they know about it and because they appreciate it. And the article was honestly written in such a condescending tone, as though, these people are so much brighter than us because they happen to have interests in historical figures that, we don't. Why didn't they? I would have to ask, why didn't they ask us about, do you know about St. Thomas Aquinas? Do you know about St. Augustine? Do you know about Moses? Like, why do they not ask us questions like this, but rather it's the ones that they are personally interested in? And you might have other historical figures that you happen to be more interested in. But ultimately, so with this assignment, basically, it was a discussion section on a Canvas page. You'll know about Canvas if you go to college. But everybody else was kind of writing about how, they totally were in agreement, real sad that people don't know about Henry David, whatever the fuck, and Gandhi, even though Gandhi was not as virtuous as your third grade social studies teacher would have you believe. But I kind of ended up writing about how, well, to put it in the most the most polite way possible, we don't need to know about these historical figures. We all have different interests. We all have different modes of thinking about history. And we shouldn't be forced into a certain mold that they tell us to. And that's what I'm here to talk about, this particular mold. This particular mold for education tells us that we have to know who people like Henry David Thoreau are and who Gandhi is, but why should we? Studies have shown that we forget 95% of what we learn in school. The human brain is a well-designed tool. It's helped us survive for hundreds of thousands of years in hostile environments, and it's had to do that through the processes of natural selection and evolution. So, what it does for us, even in the modern day, has something to say about our nature. Why did you forget the name of that guy that you met at a party one time? Knowing his name was in no way essential to your goals. It was no way essential to your survival or what you are seeking in life. And apparently, 95% of what we learn in school also does not fit that category. It is not necessary for our survival, it is not interesting to us, and it has nothing to do with our goals. Knowing this, it leads me to believe that this system, the public school system of the United States, does not work. Honestly, it shocks me that we even allowed this system to exist in the US in the first place. A system that has made so many kids miserable, forcing them to attend classes to learn facts that they're just going to forget. Anyway, before I go into this any further, let me just say that I do have experience with the school system. I taught 6th grade mathematics for a summer school program, so not long. It was about 6 weeks of teaching, and luckily it was only 6 weeks because I could only stomach it for about 6 weeks. I remember seeing some of the other teachers, and they were talking about which of the boys needed to go on drugs so they'd be more compliant for this system, for the school system. And understand, they should not have been in the school system, not because they were being disruptive, not because they were a threat to the school system, but because the school system was a threat to them.
I wish I was strong like Goliath. I wish I was an internet service provider. I'm sick of going to bed.
We all seem to wonder why, at this point in American history, we all elect such authoritarian leaders. Why we keep getting the same people in Congress who want to tell us what we're allowed to put in our own bodies. Why is it that we keep electing these weird authoritarians? Well, could part of it be that we weren't allowed to perform basic bodily functions such as going to the bathroom without permission from the ages of 5 to 17? You have to be there. no matter how much you hate it, no matter how much every muscle, every fiber of your being tells you that you could be doing something else, learning about something else, and following your dreams, yet you still have to go there. You have to obey. Is that education? Or is that prison with more lessons? And look, I understand that some students are genuinely happy with the public school system and the goals that it sets out for them. Many thrive in it. But if it doesn't work for most people, it has to change. And there are other systematic problems in the school system that need to change. I mean, 38% of students from kindergarten to 12th grade have experienced sexual harassment from a teacher or a staff member. 7% of students between 8th and 11th grade have experienced unwanted sexual contact from a teacher or a staff member. And these numbers are only going up. Well, I can imagine that currently, due to, the disease, that most of these numbers are probably down right now, but rest assured they will likely go up once things go back to normal. It makes you wonder why the media isn't so furious about the public school system when they're constantly talking about the Catholic Church, when only 4% of priests were accused of sexual assault. And keep in mind, those are accusations and not proven. Now, is the problem in the Catholic Church an issue? Is that a problem? Absolutely. I'm not saying it isn't. What I'm saying is that the problem in the school system is more severe. So now, we have to ask the difficult question here. What's the solution to a broken system? I think it's pretty simple. Don't feed it. I'm personally a proponent of homeschooling since I myself was homeschooled. Others offer forward solutions such as, unschooling. I can't speak for that myself, but I bet you could find a lot of people online talking about unschooling and things of that nature. Right now, with the pandemic, basically with current events in general, it's the perfect time that if your kids were in school, don't put them back. Maybe you noticed that they were unhappy, that nothing seemed to matter to them very much. Maybe they've got, ideas of what they want to do, but they don't have any responsibilities. They don't have anything that they're really looking to achieve right now. And maybe not putting them back there is the solution to that. Now, it's a little bit too much to go into right now, but, I was actually in the school system for a few years, and it was miserable. It was completely miserable for me, and I would wish it upon nobody. It wasn't meant for me. The school system was not meant for people like me. To be honest, I don't know who it was meant for, but it was not meant for me. And so, I know that there must be other people like me. I know that there must be others like me who were just absolutely miserable going to school every weekday when they wanted to do other things. They wanted to learn other things. I wanted to spend my time learning about science. But going to school every day it ruined my love of learning for so long. In the description, I have a list of some of the best states in the union for homeschooling. And of course, I will have links to all of the resources that I used for the statistics that I mentioned in this video. And I appreciate your time watching this video. God bless.